Come on in. You have nothing better to do in the next 2 hours. You are right where you need to be on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. The Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Frank the Tank is in studio upstairs. Derek Brandeo in the house.
What?
I like looking at your lineup
But
and paying attention to it 30 seconds before we go on air.
The best part about that is like, the talent, quote unquote. You're supposed to have some sort of idea who you're having on the show and like what you're going to say or whatever.
Of course we do.
And yeah, but what if there was just no one? Like, what if I just came in as like, it's us for 2 hours today, and you'd be like, welcome to the show. Oh, nobody. I didn't prepare for this.
We'd be fine.
I know we'd be fine.
If people haven't figured it out in the last 5 years, really just make it up as we go along.
There's a lot of flying by the seat of our pants on this show.
But there's also a lot of gathering information and just not planning the order in which it comes out.
Which is awesome.
That's very well put.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
I wouldn't want to sell anybody on that notion, but it's very accurate. But
soup of information.
If we went and pitched our show to somebody on the outside right now, they'd be like, it's like Seinfeld, man. You're a show about nothing.
Your favorite show is the show about nothing. This is a show about something, just more than nothing.
And we'll figure it out here as we move along. We are live on Sportsnet 360, 590 The Fan in Toronto, streaming always on Sportsnet Plus, also available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Jason Demers will join us.
Yep.
In about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll go around the National Hockey League. What we saw last night. David Amber as well in studio.
DA.
As he gets ready for a night of action. Hockey Night in Canada and Sportsnet as well. In the meantime,
GM Watch.
I did a scouting trip to the Marlies game last night, so
the stomach turns. Isn't that a soap opera?
I think it's more of something to do with the world.
Oh, as the world turns.
Or something like
Okay.
that.
Are we doing update there?
Well, what update? It's kind of quiet out there.
Yeah.
I do hear more John Chayka than I do Mike Gillis right now. And I will even tell you that someone, and it's unconfirmed, that says that maybe Gillis is out.
Really? See, this is why it's a good show. We don't get to know these things until the mics come on.
So,
well, at least you wait until
outside of
4:02
that,
this time.
Yeah, that's right.
Outside of that, and then the assistant general managers list that we've heard, with none of them with prior GM experience, it kind of just leaves John Chayka out there.
Yeah, mathing that out. So let me just start with piece one of this conversation, which is Gillis. Does it sound to you like they decided against going down that path?
I have not gathered any information to definitively tell you that's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So there's a number of scenarios that they cooled off on him.
Mm-hmm. It's an option.
He cooled off on the Leafs.
Also an option.
Or they couldn't come to terms, or they Mike wasn't comfortable, I guess, with the vision, maybe. But whatever the case is, either they've got him tucked away somewhere and will present him when they're ready, or he's out. He's no longer a candidate.
So if in fact there is not grand misdirection at play, saw somewhere on Twitter someone mentioned it'll be Evan Gold and Jamie Langenbrunner from Boston. I think Jimmy Murphy may have reported something to that effect, that he thought that he's a Boston guy. But the Chayka thing does come up a lot and does seem to be something that has some substance to it, maybe.
I think so. I think there's a few links for sure.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the family's from this area?
Yeah, from this area.
Southern Ontario.
Yep. And there are, there's some synergy, one might say, with Chayka and
synergy.
Yeah, well, with people,
are the horizontals.
the silos are not vertical; they're diagonal.
Okay.
No, just people in the orbit that he would have connections with. His time with Moldover and Brisson, from being a GM, relationships with the guys that he has here in Toronto. I just think he is connected to this.
Yeah.
In a variety of ways.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible. And to your point, he had a GM experience. I think a lot of people would look at him and say, well, he had 4 years of GM experience and it didn't go awesome. But I think that was a pretty tough hand he was dealt to play there in Arizona at 26.
Is he as rich as we hear he is with like the Wendy's?
Yeah, I think at one point he owned like 80 and like now maybe down to 60 or something, like sold a bunch.
Okay, can I just have one?
Yeah. It's just
Kipper, if you ran a Wendy's, they wouldn't have any pens. They wouldn't have any. They'd be running short.
Tell you
they'd
what.
They'd be losing their AirPods everywhere.
People would love to flip hamburgers for me.
Yeah, they would.
I can tell you that right now. Well, we'd have a blast.
That's true.
I guess it's just like
I've been flipping hamburgers for you for 5 years.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
How are people going to react in Toronto if it's John Chayka? As well as Sundin and Roberts.
Honestly, well, first of all, I would believe that there would still be a team around Chayka, which would include ex-players.
Yeah.
And maybe it's Matt's, maybe it's Ty. Ty's name we've heard floated out there now.
Yeah.
So
I think he's past the Chayka.
I think whatever the vision is, he'd be surrounded by a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the owner Blitzer in New Jersey says, hey, this is one guy, one decision maker, and Sonny. I'm not sure when we eventually have a press conference with Keith Pelly, he's gonna throw all of it on one person.
Right.
I don't get that sense, right? And we don't get that sense from his last press conference.
How do you feel about the involvement of former players who haven't been in management now becoming decision makers?
Well, I don't know about decision makers,
okay.
like
decision guiders.
Well, I don't know if it's Matt's or Ty, and what do you think about flipping this guy for a first round? Right? It's like, I don't know, like, what have you guys been doing for 5 or 6 years? Are you just watching? In Ty's case, has he been just watching, focusing on Matt's? Has he been watching the rest of the league? Is he up to speed on prospects on another team? How deep are you involved to participate in those types of conversations? Or do you need weeks and months to eventually get yourself to that place, which I'd hope that they'd be committed to doing?
Mm-hmm. You know what they are to me? What are those gutter guards you put in a bowling alley? Like, and you take a little kid so they can't throw it in the gutter. Like, have these guys who can say, hey, this is not going to play in this market. Like, just keep someone from making a terrible mistake. Say, hey, you can't trade a superstar for a host of picks when you're trying to just kind of keep things on the rails for someone, maybe. I don't know.
You asked how the reception would be for Chayka. Did you say that?
I said that.
I would say that he doesn't, amongst the casual fan, have a sterling reputation. Yeah. I think his name carries some weight in terms, and like, I don't even really know totally why, but I guess maybe the way he was perceived when he was in Arizona and the way it kind of ended there. Like, you talk to my Dumbo Leaf fan buddies who are all just normal guys. The name Chayka doesn't exactly, give a lot of confidence to people.
Honestly,
like, if I'm just sort of, going through the group chats, that's kind of what's happening for me.
And it may be like legit concerns on Chayka, right? It may be. I really believe that I know this market well enough. Whoever it is, there's going to be people just picking it apart.
Totally.
That doesn't matter who.
Are 3 of them in this room?
And all.
Well, yeah, but there's not going to be
right?
confetti guns if it's Ryan Martin instead of John Chayka.
No. Listen, I totally agree with that. And like I've said all week, I'm totally underwhelmed by this list. Yeah. And I have been since it started. But I do think that there's a difference that people are going to go in with preconceived notions about what John Chayka is versus, I don't even know the guy's name, the guy from
Evan Gold?
No, from Dallas. Scott White or Ryan Martin. I don't think anybody knows anybody.
No, but guess what? Nobody's willing to do their homework now, but once they get named, that's when the digging starts, right?
Totally.
So, okay, like Ryan Martin.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows anything about Ryan Martin other than he's assistant general manager for the New York Rangers. But he was in Detroit. He didn't leave on good terms, and it was a little underwhelming when he left.
You didn't like the applicator contract?
They weren't in great shape. The team wasn't in great shape when he left. Yeah. And then he goes to New York, and now he's potentially leaving New York. They're not in great shape, and the American Hockey League team in Hartford's not in great shape. And it's like,
yeah, to your point, people are going to be like, we got him.
Pick it all apart.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do think that with some increased focus on Chayka, I think people might look back at that time where Arizona was run by Marullo, who wasn't paying people, and hired Chayka, who was 26 and probably not ready for that.
Yeah.
And all the complications that came with that. I think he was handed sort of a tough one. You look at the trades he made there, they're actually kind of good. Contracts were actually kind of good. Like, I know it didn't all go great. And so people resent someone getting handed a job before they probably deserved it. Uh-huh. And there were a couple incidents. It didn't end perfectly clean, and then they had the draft thing. So people look at it and go, write him off. I think some reevaluation of that time would validate or vindicate him a little bit.
I think you're right, but for a big portion of the fan base, he'd be starting behind the 8 ball in terms of perception.
Totally.
Is that fair?
Totally fair.
Yeah.
I will say.
it's not fair.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. The one thing that did come into my text group yesterday was, why do they want, I don't want to say it. Why do they want Dollarama Dubas? And I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. He's not, that's not what he is. He's been successful at everything he's done. He's been successful in business. He's been successful.
It wasn't. What do you define successful for him? And they'll pick apart what happened to him in Arizona, and they weren't successful. And who's to blame? Was it an ownership? Did he not have the assets? Did he not have the resources?
Well, that's it.
Right? And everybody will pick it apart.
I don't
but
think
he went to the
Julian
conference.
Brisebois
Did he go to the conference? Did he ever go to the conference final?
Yeah.
Once?
Yeah, that 2014 was it, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was a tough spot. That working for that owner and that time with that team.
Yeah.
So,
and will they leave alone his history about being suspended for lying and cheating to the league? Will they leave it alone? Will they dig it up?
No.
Will they throw it back in his face?
Well, I think it'll be looked into further in what really happened here. And again, I don't know that he's going to come off bad if they do that. Like he was in a tough spot.
Can we go back to the Gillis thing?
Sure.
Do you have anything more on Chayka? What do you think changed between him being the front runner versus him being, not, you don't know for sure, but out potentially?
Yeah.
Like, did he want to blow it up?
I've talked to a couple of different people, and I'll get conflicting kind of ideas of the potential for it to blow up. And one would be that he's at that age now where he just cannot, he doesn't want to come in and be seen as a guy that is one of 3 or 4. He has to be the guy in charge.
I respect that level of stubbornness. It's like, hey, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a big organization. We're going to need some other people. And he's still like, nope, it's me or bust.
Now, there's another, side that I'm hearing is the guy's been out for 12 years. He'll do and say anything to get in there, just to get in there.
And then, but it doesn't seem like that's happened, though.
It's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of quiet. You're right. So I don't know. Like could he still be very much in the mix? And they're keeping him quiet. Of course, so much has been made out of leaks and people talking. Are they keeping this one incredibly quiet? Mm-hmm. Which might be a victory in itself for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like these people have been in town this week and conversations have been had.
Yeah. I have heard, though, some assistant GMs have. I said this the other day.
Of that group have been notified?
Yeah. Yeah, that they're out. So there is a narrowing happening.
Just 2 guys undercutting one another. I'll do it for 1-5. I'll do it for 1-3. 1-1. Do we hear 1? Do we hear 1? I mean, what else is going on?
Have you been to a live auction?
Yeah, it's intense.
It's
Not for general managers, though.
no, but
Not
it's
a reverse one. For,
It's electric.
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
yeah, good auctioneer's awesome.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I think it
Matt
does.
Martin does it at the Gillies
it
event.
does feel
13
like-
drinks in. It's not as electric.
Oh, that's amazing.
It does feel like something could happen next week.
Next week. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask. My next question
right
was
on
gonna
schedule.
My next question was going to be timeline. You think next week?
It's kind of feeling that way.
How did we just do 15 minutes on this with nothing?
We do 15 minutes on it every day with nothing.
This is your
This is our whole
15-minute updated
yeah.
GM conversation.
And look, I even put up the Leafs jersey today because I knew we were going to do 15 minutes on it.
Oh, hey, before we move on, so Sam went to the Marlies playoff game last
This
night.
is for this guy that's DM'd me 4 or 5 days in a row. Day 5 of asking for Marlies talk in the Leafs hour.
12 of the Marlies that played last night played for the Leafs this year at some point. What'd you got? They won 5-0.
It's amazing the difference about how guys look. You're right over there. Go for a walk.
My pen blew up.
Do you need a new one?
I just gave you that pen.
It's just there's pieces everywhere right now.
It was great. Like, I just, you go down there and Pizzetta all of a sudden is like, looks like the best power forward in the league, and Bo Grew's buzzing, and Jacob Quillen's mixing it up with everybody. And it was interesting to see Cowan in that context. I would say that guys were kind of leaning on him a little bit and sort of letting him know that he's the star that's coming down there. It's just they're doing AHL things to him, but he was playing well. A guy named Vinny Letary, he scored a hat trick, went bar down with a clapper. It was fun.
Was he an ex-Dallas Star? Where he?
I don't even know where he came from.
Detroit maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Wasn't there a bit of a bidding war or something with this guy?
Yeah.
Anyways, a puck was going out of his zone. He
Hit a hat trick.
He jumped up in the air, caught it, set it down, and went bar down with a clapper.
Letary is 31 years old.
He looks like it in the league.
And
where's his history?
So we got Anaheim Ducks, New York Rangers,
Ducks,
Boston Bruins, Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, a bit of a suitcase.
Yeah,
and
University of Minnesota guy.
Your boy Murmis was out there. Just
Mermdog's back.
Top pair.
He
out
was
there.
so good for them before he got kneed by someone.
And Villeneuve looks like prime Erik Karlsson down there. Like it's amazing the difference. I had fun.
So, what I'm really interested in is like. No Leafs in the playoffs here. Marlies are in the play. Was there a vibe? Was there like a feeling like we're in playoff hockey? Hey, Toronto, you still have playoff hockey here. Let's grab a Marley flag and put it on our car.
You can go watch Cowan for the price of American League ticket.
No,
I'm sure it was
I didn't get that sense.
I don't want to be this guy.
No, it wasn't bad.
Just answer it honestly.
It was a horrible crowd.
It was a horrible crowd.
It was like half full. Not even.
Not even. Okay.
Folks, you can do better. Tickets are cheap. It's a lot of fun. The games are unbelievable.
It's a Leafs town. But like, there's hockey.
But I hate that. The games are so good.
You know what's bothering?
There's hockey in Mississauga, and 600 people go. Like, it just.
You know what else there is? NBA playoffs. Like, I got no vibe for the Raptors.
They're going to get wallpapered.
They are, to that.
But they're still in the playoffs.
But no one cares.
Nobody cares anymore, eh?
Well,
if fan bases don't think that their team has a chance in the playoffs, they bail on them.
NBA is so different. You have to have a primo guy to have a chance. And Brandon Ingram is not
I love it. Rap stock.
on the level of those guys.
Yeah, he buried his coach and then missed every shot.
Yeah.
So not great.
Yeah, nice 1-2 punch
So
there.
what are we left in the city with GM flags now?
No, the Jays are going to come around.
Jays are coming back home tomorrow night. They're playing the Guardians. People be fired up with that. You get a buzz back. Once they get all their pitching back, they're gonna go on an 8 to 12 game winning streak at some point this season. Get themselves right back in it.
Book
I promise
it.
you that.
Book it. Once Kirky's
okay.
back. Just wanted to say the one thing about you mentioned Cowan getting picked on. My dad always said he went down after playing for the Islanders for a year or two that 6'4", 21-year-old guy who's been in the NHL, people tried to bully him. And he said he was forced to kind of learn there to stand up for himself, punch back, have that confidence.
But everybody should play in the minors.
But
He said it was the best thing for
Everybody.
him.
And it's not just to make you tougher. It's like humility. Carry your own bag.
Yeah.
Sit on the back of a bus. Double up.
And-
all of it.
And he's not afraid to mix it up. He's giving it right back, and he's getting it on the forecheck. He looked good. He looked big there, I will say.
After like 12 years in the NHL, Brooks Light got sent down to the Toronto Marlies.
How do you take it? Probably not great.
Not great. And after the game, there's like a dozen pizzas on the bus for the boys because that's what you eat in the minors before you travel, back on a bus or whatever. And he took the pizzas off the bus and gave them to like fans that were around the bus and was like, we're not eating that. Like, that's, it's not proper refueling for your bodies. And all the team was like, what are you
starving.
doing, man? Give me my pepperoni pie. Like, get in the bus.
What was the code?
Everyone was so rattled.
That's unreal.
And like, no one was like. Everyone was like, man, sit down. Get our pizzas back.
What was the name of the coach who did it in Edmonton where like,
Oh, Dallas Aikens.
oh yeah, where he was like,
Fruit.
no more donuts.
And everyone is like, you
don't.
don't get to make that
We're
call.
doing carrot sticks.
For Dallas.
Yeah, it didn't go
Dallas
into
is
it.
awesome.
Never been in the NHL since.
Yeah, you can't.
It's the donuts.
You can't take away the writer's
Can't they?
donuts.
Take away
That's all we got.
the donuts, and it's hard to get back in the league.
Speaking of Edmonton,
Oilers lost.
Oilers
After
lost.
Kevin Bieksa came on and said, I think the series is going
Yeah,
seven.
well,
Good read.
it might be a reminder too that Edmonton needed the last week and a half to solidify their spot.
Well, and it doesn't just happen.
Right? They didn't run away from Anaheim all season long in the Pacific Division.
No.
So it is close.
And like, if you're a Stanley Cup winning coach like Quenneville, you're like, okay, well, we got to take away McDavid. Their power play is unbelievable. We need to shut that down. Everything else, I think we can hang. McDavid has no points through 2 games,
Yeah,
does he?
0.
And the power play is 0 for 6. They can't even get set up all that well. And so you take away their strengths, and all of a sudden it's a series.
They asked Knobloch about, he kind of went off the ice a little awkwardly there, and they asked him about injury, if something's wrong with him, said, not going to give you an update, don't know anything. So, I mean, he talked after the game. McDavid said, I'm fine. So I don't know what's going on there. Let's play this clip from Knobloch on McDavid, and this kind of gets to something that Kipper's been talking about with him all year. Let's do clip 1, Knobloch on McDavid, please, Derek.
Absolutely. I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. He wants a lot of, obviously he wants the team to do well, and he's a leader, and usually when we have success, he's a big part of that. And, there's stretches during the season that he hasn't been the best player. There's nights that he hasn't been outstanding. Doesn't happen very often. And, I'm certain that he's going to find his game.
I'm not sure I would have gone down the path of reminding people when he wasn't very good and
Not always
not
good.
outstanding. I would have kind
Frankly, I'm not that
of
impressed
shied
by the
away from
guy.
that.
He only had, check the notes, 140 points again this year.
He's going to win the Hart Trophy for the league's best player.
I don't know how Oiler fans feel about, I'm not in the day-to-day with Knobloch, but this guy really doesn't blow me away, boys.
No.
He really does. Like, it's hard to see a guy in the media eye versus what he's like in the room. Like, you could never know. But does he go in there and give the Berube pre-Blues speech where he's like, we're a good effing team. It's just, I don't know.
There's the expression that I often reference on this show, which is it's better to have to tame a tiger than paint stripes on a pussycat.
Yeah.
And I do feel like
Love that saying.
the Oilers have the tiger part. Like, they're desperate, passionate. They have a lot of those guys. I wonder if Knobloch's steadiness doesn't kind of help them and give them some longevity. They don't seem like a team that needs, Herb Brooks to go in there and
You're right. And they've gone back-to-back finals with him at the helm. So, like, I'm not
experienced huge success and failure all with him, and it's
I'm not criticizing him as a coach. It's just every time I hear him talk, I'm like, oh my God.
I know. I feel
It's
the
a bit
same
of a
way.
drag. Remember we had him on our show and I was like, oh my God.
Well,
Yeah, it was nice of him to come on.
Really nice of him to come on.
But,
But
it
it's
was
just
not our most electric
but-
segment of all time.
I don't do you guys think a coach needs to have a touch more fire here and there? Like he's never done one
No.
thing in a media avail.
he got them to the finals without that fire.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just not whether or not he has enough fire or not. I look at this lineup and, Knobloch also reminded me that when he's not the best player on the ice, right? When he's not outstanding, what's the rest of your team doing? And that's like, are they really prepared? Can they truly hold the fort for this guy when he isn't scoring 2.7 points a night?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the answer is no. It's like McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard will carry you guys on their backs, or you don't have the team to do it.
Well, but by
That's
the
all that
same
comment
token,
reminded me of.
If you pick 3 guys on any team in the NHL right now and say your best 3 guys are not good,
Yeah.
do you have enough? They'll all tell you no. Like, everyone needs their best guys to be their best guys.
And in game one, it's Dickinson with 2 and Kapanen with 2. Szymanski scores one last night. Connor Murphy scores one last night. Like, it's, they've gotten these contributions from these guys in the first 2 games, and they get a bag.
Keeps puck out of their net.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of the goals that go in on Ingram, you're like, maybe could have used that one. But 5
Do you think it's Jari time?
No. Oh, no.
Not driving the TJ?
Right.
Not yet.
It's so over if they go to that guy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
You guys are just...
Oh, no.
Out.
He's a mess.
Totally agree.
He's a mess.
Yeah.
He doesn't have... To me, it's...
Ingram or bust.
You got to be down now 3-1 to even consider it.
Where's Pickard? Where is he? Is he with Bakersfield? Is he still in the org?
Maybe he was backing up in Rochester last night.
I don't know.
I
But-
don't know.
Jack Campbell around?
I just...
No.
I look at that lineup and I go, on any given night, and Savoy's been pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just a kid who has to go play with the best player on the planet. $15 million player has now got a $850,000 player on his line.
Yeah, Brownie even mentioned that on our show, right? When he came on Monday, it's like it's a huge series huge playoff for Savoy.
Why? Why should it be a huge series for him? The guy's just, barely out of diapers.
You're right. No,
Why is it a big series? Now they need that guy to step up. How about just solidifying your spot in the NHL?
Yeah.
And it's a big ask. It's a big ask.
I'm looking at like a lot of the 5-on-5 numbers for these individual Oilers. Like McDavid's still dominant. He's still
He
taking.
has to be dominant.
Yeah, but I
And
think that's normal.
He had his foot on the gas like the last 2 weeks. He was like unstoppable, and he was a one-man band. And it was going great for him. And now you're in a playoff situation, pressure situation. Now he's a little off, and he's frustrated already.
It's funny thinking back to like the Olympics in Canada and how when they needed a goal against the U.S., it was just, is McDavid going to score or not?
Yeah, it's every team he's going to be on.
It's just
It's the
you
McDavid
got
button.
the best player in the world. Yeah, you're hammering that
Again,
button like a
again.
rat at a lever,
Yeah.
hoping some food comes out. Like McDavid.
One more
And
McDavid.
So I don't know how you avoid that when you have that option.
And it's the same problem every time that you cannot load up to start a game, McDavid and Draisaitl. And then by the end of the night, you need them to play together and save you.
Yeah.
And even their back end here, and Connor Murphy's come in and gave him and is giving them some depth, but like Jake Woolman, you're hard pressed to find him 15, 16 minutes. The guy's making $7 million next year.
And for very many after.
And that guy
much
has
years.
to be 21, 22 minutes solid. And you're hiding him at 15, 16 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not panicking.
Neither am I at all. But I think I said in our first picks, Ducks in 6. I think Bielsa could be onto something about 7.
But McDavid almost serious injury last night. Like they had a moment where it was like, yeah, this could be over.
It flashes before your eyes.
But that does remind me of those Leafs years where it was like, if any of these guys are hurt, it's like, yeah, you're up 3-1 in Montreal. Tavares is hurt. So yeah.
Let's go. We'll
They,
go
they may beat Anaheim, but long term, you still don't. I don't know
It's
if
a
they
long
can
haul.
go 4 rounds and win.
long haul.
Long haul.
Anything could happen because that Vegas Utah series is not entirely clear. Like we can get a weird one.
All right, let's go.
Break.
Yeah, let's go to Jason Demers.
All right. Plenty more around the National Hockey League. Stick around. Real Kyper and Bourne.
From the 680 News Radio Traffic Center, I'm Brendan Lang. Eastbound on.
It's been 13 years since my wife and I moved to Toronto, which is a good 10 plus hours from either one of our families. We've loved the city and we love the work too, so turns out that distance has become permanent. We alternate who we see at Christmas, and each summer we try to go both places. That works because there's lots of people who like to see Toronto. A couple years back, we tried hosting our house on Airbnb, and it's funny how it's just become a part of the budget math now. It's like flights are going to be this much, and we know we're going to save that much of it by hosting on Airbnb.
money, and we figure out the rest from there. This year, it's a particularly intriguing option as the FIFA World Cup 2026 is in Toronto, meaning there's going to be no shortage of people looking for a place to stay. We're excited to be around all that energy for the first little bit, but it's also going to be great to be able to get out of the madness too, and to recoup some vacation money at the same time. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.ca/host.
Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. All right, as promised, been on the show already. Now we're regular. We have no money though, Jason. Demers, no money to pay you.
Sorry,
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's why they paid me the medium bucks. Shows like this.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Great job on the NHL Network. Most intriguing series for you so far. Why don't we start there? Just one that you have your eye on.
I mean, I wanted to say first off, it's been an incredible start to the playoffs. I've never seen so much, I want to say physicality. You know, we can say fighting, but it's a lot of wrestling, but like how much buy-in you have from all the guys and how vicious it's been. It's been really dirty, even I think more so than the last couple of years. And maybe that's just like no Florida Panthers around. So everybody's like, oh my God, we have a chance this year. But I'd say for me, the most intriguing so far, I have to say, I mean, I'm shocked that Pittsburgh's down 3-0. I didn't expect them to lay an egg this big and of this magnitude. And credit goes to Philly, Dan Vladar, Porter Martone. Like, this team looks great right now. They look very structured ever since the Olympic break. I know talking them kind of shifted a little bit of their defensive structure through the neutral zone, and they've frustrated the hell out of Pittsburgh. And this is now I don't know how far they'll go, but to me, it's the most intriguing just to see, is this the way the Penguins are going to go out? Is a sweep Sid the Kid, the year they had with Dan Muse, and it just seems like they've forgotten how to play hockey, or Philly's just dominated so much. And then out west, it's got to be Dallas and Minnie. It's just such a great series. If Minnie continues to play with fire and give Dallas this many power plays, I think they're going to be in trouble. I think they got to keep it 5-on-5, even after, you know, what Foligno said, and they go out and take 8 penalties. I know it's a high, there's a lot of emotionality and you're trying to play physical, but you got to toe that line with Dallas, because I think they're the better team 5-on-5. But if you give them 8 power plays, you're going to lose that game 9 times out of 10. So I think they got to really get back to the drawing board. But it's a great series. It's going to go 7. I can't imagine it not going 7. How great is Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber been? And then, you know, Matt Boldy on the Minnesota side. And then on Dallas, you look at Duchesne and Rantanen kind of waking up, and Heiskanen coming off that knee injury, and he played 43 minutes last night. So those are the two that have kind of caught my eye. You know, one, Pittsburgh for just being so bad right now and forgetting their identity. And then just the how evenly matched Dallas and Minnie are.
Jason, you know, we're going to get to some other series, but we happen to have you in our Leafs hour. And so this is you're the perfect guy to have on to ask about this, because one name that's coming up often here right now for a potential GM job is John Chayka. Now, his time as the GM of the Coyotes overlapped exactly with your time with the Coyotes. So wondering what you can tell us about what it was like, what he's like, what the word was around Chayka and the job he did as a GM.
Well, I just talked about this on my podcast too, and I liked John. John brought me over from Florida, believed in me. You know, he has an analytics lean to him. I think back then he might have leaned too heavily on it, but he was great to me. I don't have a bad thing to say about him. In the times that he was there, and I know the unfortunate stuff that, you know, he was kind of wrapped up in and you know, spearheaded or whatever you want to call it. You know, that's all gone now, and I think he paid his time. But, you know, he came in and he was there through Morello, and you know, Alex Morello came in, and, you know, we had that whole year before COVID where I told this story on the podcast, is, from my understanding, was we were in first in the Pacific that year, and we were playing great, and we were getting around the deadline or before the deadline, and we wanted to make a trade, and Morello it was his first year there, and our team was humming. And we had a trade kind of for Tyler Toffoli. We found out that Toffoli was coming, and it's what we needed. We needed kind of a goal scorer, and Toff was in LA at the time. And we were playing LA that night, and we were like, oh my God, we're going to get Toffoli. We were all fired up. We're like, guys, like this is exactly what we need. Our decor was stout. Kemper was in nets, was playing great. You know, we'd Kessel, Keller, everybody was having a good year, and the Morello wanted to make a splash and went out and got Taylor Hall. and basically circumvented the whole process. And I believe John and them were like, no, we don't need Taylor Hall right now. And not to say Taylor Hall's not a great player and a great veteran, but just for what we needed at that point, we needed a right winger that could score, put the puck in the net. And he just kind of circumvented it. And then everything fell apart after that. We kind of lost a ton of games in a row because it just didn't fit. Like,
right.
It wasn't anything Taylor did or our team did. It just sometimes things don't fit. It just happens. But Chike's like had a good plan for us and kind of took the brunt of it. But that was kind of on the back of ownership, from my understanding, and not John. But John had built something pretty good with what he had to work with in Arizona. And I think given Toronto and the fact that they will spend and they should spend, because just that city as a whole deserves to have a team in the playoffs year in and year out to be competitive. And I just think he could be a good guy to manage that. And I think it wouldn't be a bad guy to look at and take a deep dive on, because I'm sure he's learned from his time away, and he's a guy that kind of toes the analytics line. And I think, now he was maybe ahead of his time. And I think now that all the analytics is kind of caught up and it's really at the forefront of everything, I could see him being somebody that gets a job one of these days. But yeah, I think it's definitely a guy that I wouldn't be surprised makes it back in the league. He's been trying now for a couple of years. And when he does, I think he will do a good job if he surrounds himself with the right people.
Other issues too, like not just maybe the ownership dabbling in a trade, but like, were you involved with paychecks being late and just other things that maybe would have challenged Chaika in that situation?
Are you still owed money?
Blink twice if I'm still owed money. Listen, there was a lot surrounding that at that time. It was a weird time in Arizona, and it's such a shame because I thought we did have a great group of guys, and the coaching staff, everything had good symmetry and good synergy, and John, I think, was willing to step back and kind of let us run it the way we saw it, and let the coaching staff, operate by their own accord. And he didn't really dabble too much. And now listen, Bill Armstrong's come in and he's done a great job in Utah and before Arizona, putting those pieces together. But, a lot of those guys were John as well. And I do think that ownership, and we've seen it on a lot of franchises, ownership is just as important as the GM and just as important as the coach. It's top down, it trickles down. And if you have an ownership that is maybe meddling too much, it can really hurt a franchise. And I think if it's in Arizona, that was really the case with the Morellos. And I think, now that you see the ownership with Ryan Smith in Utah and what they're doing and willing to spend, and it's unfortunate. You don't want to tell somebody that owns a hockey franchise, hey, because I don't have the money to do it. If I did, I'd do it. But to say, hey, spend. But if you want to win, it's been proven that it's very hard to do it on a budget. And if you do it, you might only get one crack at it, and then you're back to the bottom of the barrel. So it's something that you have to, as a franchise, just is what it is. You got to pay, baby. And that's the only way you get the best out of the players and the best out of the organization as a whole. So hoping Toronto realizes that and really brings in just a good, you just need to set something up for the next. This can't be a Band-Aid. There needs to be a clear direction, and it needs to be something that, if it's going to be a 5-year rebuild or 7-year, or it's a retool, it's got to be clear cut. The message has to be clear, because the fan base there doesn't deserve to wait a long time, no matter how, spoiled they've been with all these consecutive playoff years. I just think it needs to be quick. So they're going to have to spend and bring in the right guy that has the clear vision. I think is the most important thing.
Here they're talking about getting some of the most respected Maple Leafs of all time back involved with the organization. Matt Sundin's name has been involved. Gary Roberts, Ty Domi, Nick Kypreos, I believe. What are your thoughts?
Hey,
you got my vote.
Don't believe everything you hear on this show.
You got my vote. As long as you bring me in as an aide on the side, just your right hand.
But the way you're speaking about Chaika, man, you're up for president.
I better be. John Chaik, if you're watching this, I know you are somewhere. Bring in your boy. Come on now.
How do you feel about guys that haven't been in management then kind of being involved? Like, these guys know the league. They've been around. They have a sense for it. Like, there's no doubt that they can provide sort of, I guess, some guidance, right? Kip's pretty comfortable with it.
Like, yeah, in terms of culture, Jason, like, how?
I think there's a fine line with that because I agree with you on the culture. But again, you have to bring in guys that played that are involved in the game. You can't just have kind of an ambassador. There's enough of those around. You need somebody that knows the league and really watches and is also a fan. Like, there's a lot of guys in the superstars, legends of the game, and I'm not going to name names just because, listen, they've done amazing stuff in the sport when they're playing, but it is very difficult to run a franchise and be a GM. You got to love it. You got to live it, breathe it, and you can't just mail it in because, you have a great career on Hockey DB. Like, you had a great career. You had a bunch of games. You won some cups. Because there's been guys in the league that have come and tried to be a GM and have great resumes, and it hasn't worked out because it doesn't always translate. And I just think that I do believe Toronto, I like seeing the movement of more players, ex-players coming in because ones that know the game, care, love it. You see some good guys around the league that are in, higher up positions as advisors and assistant GMs, and they're doing great jobs. There's some that are struggling a little bit, but I do think if you're going to bring in somebody that is from the old guard, that is beloved by fans, they have to know the game inside out. They can't just be beloved by fans and that's where it ends. Like, they have to know the game, be a part of it, because if you're going to jump the line and you're not going to kind of do the grind of scouting and all sorts of things, that's fine. You got to have a great sense of where you want the team to go, and also being able to execute that vision. Because, again, at the end of the day, your career is your career and it's great, but it doesn't always translate to being management, and it's difficult, and it's not a job that is for the faint of heart or for somebody that's going to do it, half-assed.
Yeah, no, I think those are really great takes. We appreciate that. Last one for me. Just want to get your thoughts on the Edmonton Oilers losing a game to the Anaheim Ducks. I don't know where you sat on it. I kind of felt like this was going to be a 5-gamer for the Oilers, kind of a warm-up round to get to the next one. We have Kevin Bieksa came on yesterday and said he thought it could go 7. I mean, maybe I'm missing something here. You think this one's going to go the distance?
I had it at 6.
Yeah,
was my pick. I think I had Oilers in 6. I think, you, as much as Q is, just this amazing coach, veteran coach, it's still a young group. I still think, if Dostal played a great game last game, and I think the only thing that could hurt the Oilers is goaltending, and, Connor Ingram, I think, has got one of the worst goal saves above expected. Mm-hmm. And I thought the issue had kind of been ironed out, but, Anaheim is very opportunistic. They got a lot of pure goal scorers on that team. So I don't count it out at all. And listen, if you were to tell me after 2 games, Connor McDavid has no points and Evan Bouchard has no points, that kind of colored me shocked. So I don't expect that to happen. I hope his injury isn't that bad. It didn't look good. The little tweak, maybe high ankle or his knee, but hopefully he's okay. But I just think that it's going to be a lot tougher than people think, just because that division as a whole wasn't, Anaheim kind of limped into the playoffs, but they were at one point one of the better teams. And when they get streaky, they're very good. And they do have a lot of good leadership on that team. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of took all of this, all of us talking about them losing in 5 and 6 and is using that as fuel. And, as ex-players, when everybody's counting you out, guys read all that. They know. You don't think Philly looked at every single thing about Pitt. Crosby's going to roll him over. Young team. Philly stinks, and they're using that same thing with Anaheim. So, and I'm sure Q's getting the most out of those guys right now, and he has been. You look at Cutter. Game 1 plays him 13 minutes because he wasn't going. We talked about it on the network. I'm like, that's a great move by him. Hey, you've been great for us all year. You're a 40 goal scorer, but in the playoffs, you got to elevate your game. You got to go up another level. The mistakes are even more amplified. He does that, plays him 13 minutes, rolls with Terry and Carlson and those guys who kind of had a good game. And then what does he do What does he do last night? 2 goals and assist, plays 18 minutes and was all over the puck. And I'm like, that is the differentiator, I think, with this Anaheim Ducks team is going to be, can Q kind of keep pushing the buttons on these guys and these young guys, and can, Edmonton take advantage of the chances that they're going to get, because they're going to have to score 4 or 5, because you can't really trust what you got in the net. No knock on Ingram or Jari, but just hasn't been proven to be good enough this season. So they're going to have to make sure that they're capitalizing on their chances. And yeah, it's an intriguing series for me, and especially with Connor not having any points. But if you were to say and tell me that he has no points in 2 games and that it's 1-1, I'd probably be happy if I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan, because It's only a matter of time, if he's not severely injured, that he's going to have a night. So, I still have Edmonton. I refuse to bet against them anymore after they've burned me too many times. So, because they just went to 2 cup runs and I didn't think they would the last 2 years. I think they'll figure it out. But yeah, it's good on Anaheim. I think Anaheim's got a bright future, and I think this is maybe a getting their feet wet, and they're kind of taking the underdog role. But I think with what they have talent-wise, they're young guys. I mean, they're going to be good for the next 5-6 years. We're going to see a good little resurgence of those teams out in the Pacific. Not the Pacific, but out in California, Anaheim and San Jose. They just got a light. I love so much of what they have and what they've built. And listen, when you got Lucas Dostal there, who struggled mightily down the stretch, but has game-stealing capabilities against a Connor Ingram and Jari that, their goals save above expected, some of the worst in the league.
Yeah.
It could get interesting quick here.
Yeah, it sure does, man. Hey, great stuff as always, Jason. Really appreciate your time, pal. Thanks for doing this.
All right, I'll see you in Toronto for our meeting.
Love it.
Thanks so much, man. Look forward
Demers, to it. Future president of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I know we talked to Gillis and Chaika. Is there a world for you, Gillis president, Chaika general manager?
Yes. And to be honest, I'd be good with that.
I just want it to happen.
Yeah.
I don't like, at this point with all these names, it doesn't matter to me.
Is there to you?
Well, let me put it to you this way. They have both been accused of being the smartest guys in the room. Okay?
That's
something
tough.
I have never been accused of.
But you also don't think you are, which makes it work.
Here's the 2 scenarios for me if they come out in a press conference together. 1, the Leafs make the playoffs next year. 2, they kill each other.
Death. There's blood everywhere.
Someone's going down.
Oh, boy.
Someone will go down.
As someone who is a co-host of a popular Leafs show, that sounds fantastic. Playoffs or management fights? Let's go.
Playoffs?
Okay, management fights then.
Yeah.
But I think everybody would agree that it'd be wise to announce a president.
Yeah.
And not go the Sunny Maida, New Jersey.
No, I think
way.
that's definitely my preference. I genuinely believe it's a big job. I'm not like, hey, do this because I want to see them spend money or whatever. I just think there's a lot to keep tabs on. And I thought that hurt Brad Treliving not having a sounding board last year on a day-to-day.
Yep, totally.
Shanahan, he was around on the daily with the Leafs in previous years.
All right.
We have DA in the next hour, talk about some of the Canadian stuff.
Yeah, and we still got plenty to get into, including Crosby getting an embellishment penalty. That's okay. We'll save it for the national hour here, but
we've barely talked hockey so far.
Boy, Muse went on the podium and a few tears streaming down his face.
All right. We'll get into that. Jason Demers from the NHL Network. If you're just starting to follow us now, give it a download on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. YouTube's out there. Love the chat. How about a big thumbs up for Jason Demers?
And by the way, Yasiel Puig is going to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs
Baseball
team
Yeah.
in the Intercounty Baseball League next year.
Unbelievable.
Starting May 10th, possibly.
Yeah. Right there.
Just a wealth of information on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show.
Who's not thrilled about this?
This is the most exciting news of the day. By far.
David Amber in studio as we get set for a big night on Sportsnet. It's NHL hockey at its finest, playoff hockey.
It's been 13 years since my wife and I moved to Toronto, which is a good 10 plus hours from either one of our families. We've loved the city and we love the work too, so turns out that distance has become permanent. We alternate who we see at Christmas, and each summer we try to go both places. That works because there's lots of people who like to see Toronto. A couple years back, we tried hosting our house on Airbnb, and it's funny how it's just become a part of the budget math now. It's like flights are going to be this much, and we know we're going to save that much of it by hosting on Airbnb, and we figure out the rest from there. This year, it's a particularly intriguing option as the FIFA World Cup 2026 is in Toronto, meaning there's going to be no shortage of people looking for a place to stay. We're excited to be around all that energy for the first little bit, but it's also going to be great to be able to get out of the madness too, and to recoup some vacation money at the same time. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.ca/host.
Kicking it up a notch on the national hour of our Real Kyper and Bourne show. We are live on Sportsnet. Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. This piece of chocolate Justin gave me like 3 seconds ago is now causing me to choke.
Got to keep everyone's blood sugar up so they're happy.
We are available on Sportsnet Plus, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where we always love a thumbs up. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. In a few moments, we'll welcome in David Amber, studio host, Hockey Night in Canada, NHL on Sportsnet, and we'll cover you from head to toe.
He's going to stroll right in here any moment now. So.
Important note before we move on is to thank your mother for the Greek pastries, the baklava,
we just went through Greek Easter, so like it's a really good time to bake.
I don't even know what those things were, but that was a lot of honey-infused sweets. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
She'll love that.
Oh, yeah? Does she listen every day?
She says she does, but do we really believe them?
Yeah, maybe not.
Let's move on to the hockey. Tonight, the Ottawa Senators return and need a hockey victory against the Hurricanes of Carolina. What are we thinking? Is this one?
Kipper and I definitely need it because we picked them to go to the final.
Yeah,
so
we did.
You guys both pick Ottawa to the finals.
Yeah.
I don't have any motives behind that.
Can't blame.
Say it.
No, not
you
yet.
wanted to put him on a team.
I don't believe that Steve Alakep by any stretch blamed Allmark. He just broke his play down.
Yeah,
right.
Allmark's been great.
But there's also some suggestion that Valley just hung him out to dry. But he's doing everything he can, I think, in his own way. If I would have told you they were down 2-0, he would have been the first guy I'm pointing a finger at.
Right.
And that's not the case here.
That's kind of the part that concerns me for Ottawa, though, is that he's been very good and they haven't won.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to be consistently good.
We're due for the Allmark stinker, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like one or two where you're like, God, we actually outplayed him that game and deserved that one, but sort of game. So that's my concern in that one.
You have to think, though, that they've been an excellent team for the second half of the year. They beat a lot of good teams, a lot of huge games. Yeah. They're good at home. You have to think that this would be the night where they kind of dig deep and find one and get it to 2-1.
You need the Brady Tkachuk game. If they're going to
Stutzla, all the
go
stars
to the
need
cup final,
to,
there's going to be, they were down 2-0 Carolina. They went home, and then Brady had that night, 2-1 in a fight.
Honest, there's sometimes you feel like there's a force field that's keeping the puck out of the net, and it feels that way for the Ottawa Senators.
It does. It's just everything but in. I don't think Freddie Anderson's been unbelievable, but the puck just won't go in for them. So, yeah, maybe tonight's the night.
They certainly can't find themselves down 3-0 like Pittsburgh. So if I would have told you before the playoffs started, the team least likely to be facing a 3-0 deficit, we would have said like Colorado and maybe Pittsburgh right behind them.
Yeah, not too far. Come on in.
Yeah, come in. I'll get out of the way here.
There's that one. We're going to talk to DA just a moment from now. Also did want to note for Buffalo, Alex Lyon is going to be the starter, I believe. He was in the starter's net at morning skate this morning. So there's a fascinating one.
As promised, David Amber is joining us in studio, Hockey Night in Canada, as he gets ready for a big night of action. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Thanks for coming.
Are you okay? I saw a couple of laps around the room. You good?
I had gum in my mouth. I wanted to spit out. I was like, where can I put this? You guys eat a garbage in here. Where's all the gum? Is it under the table here?
See how perceptive I am? I can see you scrambling out of the corner of my eye. We're just talking about Ottawa. It certainly doesn't want to find themselves in the same position as the Pittsburgh Penguins. Before we get into Ottawa and some of the Canadian teams, but, it's a big story right now. Sid Crosby down 3-0 and not being that big of a factor so far in the series, and something that we didn't envision at all. Just your thoughts on how surprised you are to see Pittsburgh where they are right now.
I guess give a lot of credit to Rick Tocchet and the way that they have prepared their team to play Pittsburgh. You guys saw game one. I haven't seen Crosby that apoplectic on the ice in a long time. He took 2 penalties. He was getting drawn into all sorts of scrums, all sorts of extracurricular. they kind of were in his head a little bit. And it wasn't one guy doing it. It wasn't like, you remember when you played Pee-wee, you'd be like, shadow that guy, he's their best player. It was like by committee. Just every time they had a chance, a shot here, a little slash there, a jab there, verbal. And I think they kind of had him off his game a little bit, which was, again, credit to Rick Tocchet. Sometimes teams take on the identity of their head coach, and it really feels like the Flyers have taken on the Rick Tocchet Flyer, Broad Street bully, modern day version of what the Flyers, are, who they are. It's not just Crosby, and maybe there's part of this too, guys. Like, I did pick Philly to win this series, and part of it was Pittsburgh. I don't want to say they overachieved, but did you guys think they were going to make the playoffs?
No. But then again, I didn't think Philly was quite there either. So.
No, nor did I. But Philly also came on incredibly at the end of the year, and Pittsburgh kind of was gliding in, and I just thought maybe their age would start to show a little bit. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be 3-0, and I didn't think Crosby was going to be kind of neutralized the way he has. But maybe Pittsburgh in a way is showing a little bit of the colors that we thought we might see during the regular season.
Yeah, I think Philly might lead the league in guys that are maybe better than you think they are. Like that Noah Cates is actually a really nice player. He was on my Selke ballot. Owen Tippett's been really good.
He had 11 hits last night. Tippett had 11 hits last night.
Yeah, he's a beast. He kind of reminds me of
7,
Anderson.
I think, in game 1.
Yeah, like they're just running around.
Is he Josh Anderson at all to you? Like he's fast, he's big and strong. No, he turns it up in playoffs.
He keeps hitting 11 times in one hockey game. He can turn into Anderson for me.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. Just to stay on the Crosby storyline for a second, DA, he received his first embellishment penalty of his career. It was a strange play off of a face-off where Hathaway accidentally hit him on purpose, with his stick just before a face-off. What did you see?
Well, I think the stick made contact with him. It was a little bit of the soccer flop that probably got him the embellishment, but the idea of Sidney Crosby, who's earned everything he's done in this league, it was a pretty gutsy call in a way. Like, not gutsy. I don't know if gutsy's the right word. I'm not. What was your take? Nick,
I'm not calling that on Crosby. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
If the stick hits you near the eye, you're allowed to go down.
If the league has an issue with me on a guy with his impeccable record and has never had one before, I'm not going to be the first official to nail him on that. I'm sorry. But even if I thought it was true, he gets a pass. That guy has earned a pass for me.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. And I think it should have been careless stick on Hathaway. I'm sorry, but hey, control your stick. Yeah. You knocked him in the eye. You're the one getting the penalty. And not Crosby. That's my take.
That's a good take. And instinctually, and you guys, I wear a full cage, but even with a full cage, you get a stick at the cage. You
wear a solid cage
and 3 neck guards. But that's the thing. It's an instinctual thing too. That seemed like a home crowd. That seemed like a home crowd call. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, do you call that in Pittsburgh? Like when you had the
probably? I mean, it probably doesn't. It probably doesn't. It's kind of sad that it's taken away from a little bit of the bigger storyline. But in a way, that 5-on-5 scrum where everyone went to the box is what kind of derailed Pittsburgh's chances. You heard Skinner talk about Crosby talk. How long was the delay? 15 minutes?
20, maybe.
Like that's an insane delay.
It's crazy.
Especially when you end up calling minors on it. Just send them all to the box then.
Can we just put a bow on Crosby? We got a comment from him. Clip 1, boys, on the embellishment.
Very clear that they're looking for that. I don't know how Rusty ends up with the extra out of all that. I don't know how I end up with embellishment. It's hard to understand, but you gotta play through that.
Sid never wants to say too much.
Took the high road.
Yeah.
I don't have a headset in. You'll have to paraphrase. But I watched I watched Sportsnet Central though, and I heard him saying about he kind of shrugged his shoulders.
Yeah, he just said didn't really understand it and kind of deflected it at the end of the day, like typical Sid.
Yeah, doing the right thing there. Are we good on the Pittsburgh series?
We are.
Okay. We've done a little bit of Ottawa chat. This is obviously a huge game for them tonight. It has been. Have you been surprised by this series? It's been close, competitive.
It's been amazing.
To me, it's been awesome. Like kind of what I expected from this series entirely.
Game 1 was great, but Game 2 to me was the best game I might have seen all year.
Yeah.
I mean, right from the first couple minutes, it was so exciting.
Pace is wild.
This is the thing. The pace is wild, right? And then you turn on another game, and it seems like they're just plodding along in cement. I couldn't believe how fast the game was.
Well, do you know that's actually backed up by NHL Edge data? The two highest speed burst teams by a good distance are Carolina and Ottawa in the playoffs.
And the goaltending's been sensational. And that was a big storyline going in. And Linus Ullmark arguably played his best game as a Senator. Yeah. 46 saves, penalty shot save, incredible high-danger chance saves. And they still didn't find a way to win. I wonder what the psychological or emotional residue from that loss could be. Mm-hmm. Nick, when you played in the 94 playoffs, before you guys won Game 7, didn't you have an overtime loss in there against Vancouver? I'm trying to remember.
An overtime loss?
I'm just trying to think about guys rebounding.
We were 1-1.
I can't even remember.
We were 1-1 leaving New York. And then we went up 3-1, 3-2.
So, like, was there emotional
3-3.
residue after Game 6? You guys were like, oh, it's slipping away from us. Like, I wonder just how Ottawa will rebound. And Travis Green will have them ready, but that felt like a loss and a half, right? Like, Amadio off the post.
Well, that's it. After the goal comes back and they get that breakaway, it felt like this was the story they were going to tell. Totally.
Just meant to be.
It just felt like they had it right there in their tip, in their grasp, you know?
Yeah.
Who's got the most pressure up front for Ottawa? It would have been like Stützle is a heck of a hockey player, and he's looking so close. Brady, Tkachuk. Who needs to? Who's your go-to guy tonight for Ottawa?
Both those guys, and you can throw Pinto in there. I mean, those were three of their top scorers, and they're right now scoreless, -6 collectively. They had the chances. I felt horrible in a way for Stützle because he's had 8 missed nets. Like, he's missed 8 shots at this point.
Well, and it's an unbelievable deke that was off the inside of the post. That's a missed shot, but it's like you're an inch from hero mode.
Now, one thing is they'll get choice matchups now.
Yeah.
Travis Green's going to do everything in his power. He can bulk up the lines. They're changing up some things on the defense. If you saw Clevens in and Crotty. And so the crowd it'll be a different atmosphere. So, you know, this is the series, though. They went down 3-0 to the Leafs last year. That's an impossible hole to dig out of. So this is a massive game. But yeah, I imagine Stützle and Tkachuk. You know, Freddie Anderson, I don't think he's in people's heads, but my God, he's been good, right? 18 high-danger scoring
Just the one bad goal,
saved.
right?
Yeah.
Bad angled shot on Cousins, I think.
Cousins was bad angle, and Batherson was a lucky one. He tried to pass it out. It reflected right back. And
but that's it.
They haven't beaten him on a good opportunity yet.
Yeah, no, he's been surprisingly good.
Mm-hmm.
Just on Carolina, maybe even better than you thought. Like tighter defensively.
The PK,
it's hard to penetrate that team.
They're so well coached, and I didn't maybe have as much an appreciation. Listen, full disclosure, I picked Ottawa to win the series. I picked Ottawa to win the East.
You know what? These two picked them to win the cup. So.
To win the cup?
In the cup.
I picked them to win the cup.
Wow. And that's not a bad pick.
I did. And it's rolling the dice on Ullmark.
Yeah. But it has this is the
but
thing.
You know,
he's
capable, he's talented.
For sure, he can do it.
If you told me they were down 2-0, I'd say, okay, Ullmark sprung a leak or something else has happened. The fact that he's been sensational at the 9.36 save percent or whatever it is, they have to start capitalizing on some of these scoring opportunities. They have to start capitalizing on the power play. And you know what? Let's play with a lead. They've been chasing the game. They haven't led yet. You know how tough it is? They've come back from a 2-goal deficit in Game 2. Like, that's a tough team to be chasing, right?
At home, don't want to be chasing the game. That's going to be a huge first goal. So you follow our Canadian teams hyper close. Montreal Canadiens 1-1 in their series. Brandon Hagel, Slavkovsky. You've got a great series going on here too. Where are things for you in that series?
I can't wait to see what it's like in Montreal tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's going to be awesome. The series has been great. And we talked about the line changes for Ottawa. The line changes are going to be massive because Suzuki and Caulfield, I think they've combined for 5 shots in the series. And they have assists, and Caulfield set up the beautiful Slavkovsky goal on the power play. But 5-on-5, it's been a struggle, a real struggle for Montreal. Now that Martin St. Louis can sit there and say, okay, you're going to bring out Perry and those guys. Okay, well, here's my opportunity. I'm going to bring out Suzuki and these guys. Let's see how this goes. It's the matchups in this series are incredibly tough. The margins are incredibly close. And this could be a 7-gamer. You know, I picked Montreal. Again, I pick a lot with my heart and my head. But I also felt like
a reasonable pick.
They finished with the same amount of points.
Totally.
No Hedman. Like, there's a lot of reasons to say Montreal this should be their series, and I still feel they're right there. And I'm sure, as Martin St. Louis said, we would have loved the sweep, but to take the split, if you'd asked us before the 2 games, we take it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's coach speak. I don't know, but here we are, best of 5. They have home ice.
You wonder what Marty St. Louis would tell Slafkovsky, because there's so much to love about what he did with Hagel, and then there's the other part where it's, well, you don't want to get caught up too much in that, and you lose your focus on the other great stuff that you do. And there's such a fine line, and probably the same conversations when it comes to Anderson and Sabrin. It's like it's a game of moves and counter moves, and who's chasing who, and who's got momentum, and it's been really intriguing in these first 2 games.
Only thing I'd say about that is, from a strictly personnel standpoint, Slafkovsky, Hagel, that's okay. Like, getting Hagel off the ice for 5 minutes, he's been their best player.
Yeah.
Sabrin, Anderson was smart, turned it down, declined it, right? And Kevin Bieksa made a great point. Like, Sabrin didn't go about it in a very clandestine way. He's like, come on, let's go. And it's like making it front and center. Had he gone and given a couple slashes to the ankle of Caulfield or something, then, you goad him into, okay, you're going to do that, then I'm going to have to come at you. But I don't want that trade-off.
But Anderson did take a really cheap shot, in my opinion. A cheap
charge.
shot. Yeah, the charge hitting from behind. I've got to answer it in some way, and I'm not suggesting that he needs to go out there and fight Sabrin. He may just have to go hit point. He may have to go.
You don't think Josh Anderson can stand up for himself? That big guy, he's got to go superstar hunting?
He doesn't have to. He wants to. He wants to, because you want to draw things out of the other team. Yeah. That's like I can chase Anderson.
Scott Sabrin?
No. It's just not Sabrin. It's any one of them, but it can include Sabrin. Sabrin could be dumb enough to feel like he's got to now counter somebody and take a penalty off of it.
It just feels like if you're spending 10 seconds on Scott Sabrin, you've lost the plot to me. Like, this is.
But Sabrin has turned himself into a player in this series, a factor, right? I don't care, 6 minutes.
Unless you decide
6 minutes or 16 minutes, the guy has had an impact in the first 2 games.
It almost cost them game 2 with that penalty.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, if I'm the coach playing Scott Sabrin, I'm going to say we make him irrelevant by making him irrelevant. Like, he just
but you're wrong, because if he does something out there that needs to be countered, either directly or indirectly, it has to happen. So it is. He is a factor until he's not a factor.
I chase my Josh Anderson around. You're right. If Sabrin's out there taking shots at Caulfield and Suzuki, it's different to me. But
you can't just sit there and do nothing.
I agree with that.
You have Arbor Jack,
but he hasn't yet.
And to me, that's more Arbor Jack. I only didn't play in overtime. I think the third period much. I think he only played 9 minutes.
But Jack looked good in game 1 when he gives Kucherov another shot after a whistle, and he backs off, and he's like Mr. Innocent. And now Tampa Bay, it draws so much emotion on. Who is that to take a run at our best player? We can't let that happen. And then it starts that chain of events.
It's been a chess match for sure. It's been a chess match. It's been a lot more about the post whistle than during the whistle, right? Or during the play. It's what's happening after. And there's a scrum basically every whistle. I think I liked what you said, though. It's situational. You're up a goal or 2. Walk away. Walk away. It's just not worth it. Let them chase you. Let them try to aggravate you. You're down a goal. Let's try and drag him into the gutter and see what happens. So
Kip had a good point yesterday where he said, like, the Slafkovsky and Hagel thing, the ref, to your point, every whistle, they're at it. And the refs were kind of like, just do it then. Just go fight. They let those guys have at it.
I loved it.
I kind of feel the same about Jack-Eye, where it's like, you just try not to make those guys relevant to me as much as you can. But I get the idea that if they're chasing around your superstars, you got to deal with that at some point. Sorry, do you have something?
No, it's just
series is great.
When you play and you look across the ice, 2-3 guys that could knock your block off at any time. They're relevant. They're always relevant.
Of course,
They're always.
And again, it depends.
You guys think
who they're chasing.
You guys think Montreal has enough toughness, though? I don't think that's been an issue. At all.
They're not getting intimidated.
No, God, no. I haven't felt that at all.
Strubal's tough. He can hold his own.
Jack-Eye, Strubel, Anderson. You have the front line. You saw Slafkovsky.
Yeah.
They have size and Doc and guys like that.
I think it's worth asking, like the Leafs for a lot of years, is the size where amongst the guys who are going to be in the big minutes? Like for the Leafs for years, they had guys at the fringes, but it's like Marner wasn't, Nylander isn't, Tavares isn't, Matthews isn't. So I think it's worth seeing as the big games get big how that plays
and
out.
And it is
but-
important for Cole Caulfield to become a threat 5-on-5 here because listen, 51 goals, like a hell of a year, but you can't be that guy that just doesn't look like he can get to the net in the playoffs because now size becomes a factor again, and you don't want to hear that conversation that it's too tight, it's too heavy, hockey, and you're too small, right? He's got to get going here.
Yeah, Ron McLean was on the hockey show with Matt and Mike, and he was making a point of the goal scorers. Look at the size of these goal scorers. They're all 6'3", 6'4", it seems, right? The Jason Robertsons and Slafkovskys. It's been the bigger players right now.
Gooley, I like too. He's
like
tough, hard player. He ain't getting intimidated.
I do think the last change is significant here, and I do think you try and set up Suzuki and Caulfield in that top line for success. And Martin St. Louis is a very smart coach, as we've seen, and I imagine he's going to put them in the best position to succeed in games 3 and 4.
Vasilevsky obviously got the win in game 2, but
I don't think anyone's intimidated by Vasilevsky.
no, he doesn't appear to have that still that oh my God, it's a brick wall out there. He looks human now.
Well, I heard Simmer on your guys' show breaking down all 4 goals, and he didn't like any of them from game 1. And I went back and watched it, and I said, he's not wrong. Yeah. Like he was guessing, right? On the Anderson 2-0, he was guessing pass. On the Slafkovsky overtime shot, he was guessing, blocker side instead of glove side.
He didn't have his net.
Yeah.
When was the last time you said, okay, that guy lost his net?
Yeah.
And he's a big, big guy. So goaltending right now, it's if nothing, it's 50-50, and you could say it's advantage Montreal. Dobish has been fantastic. In that overtime, I know they ended up losing, but they were outshot, 9-0 in the overtime.
Yeah.
Do you think, let's just switch gears. We only got a few minutes, and you got to get ready, of course.
What are you wearing tonight, DA?
A suit?
Nice call.
Whatever Tab has picked out.
I think, just on a side note, I think you guys for Hockey Night in Canada should get, video of you guys coming into the studio, like the hockey players coming into the rink.
Entrance?
Yeah.
I'll put a Nylander little tank top on.
Is that what they're called? Tank tops? Buffalo.
Yeah.
Little lucky or fortunate to be 1-1 or... I mean,
4-goal comeback in the third period.
Great third period, but they don't happen that often.
Well, I guess if Buffalo were here to answer that question, Kyper, they might say, well, the other team scored a goal from center ice on a backhand dump-in. We outshot them by double digits both games. You can make arguments that Buffalo's been, in some regards, a better team at spots. I didn't watch Game 2 as closely as I watched Game 1. In Game 1, that third period comeback was tremendous. Did I hear right when I was coming on? Lyon is confirmed starter?
Not confirmed, but he's in the starter's net at morning skate.
Because I was asked on another show, and I was like, I think he'll go back to Luukkonen. He wasn't great, but Lyon, they do have that two-headed monster, and Lyon does have experience. If you guys remember Florida making their run to the Stanley Cup final a couple of years ago, that was Lyon got them there in the regular season and started the first couple games of the
I'm okay with the goalie change.
Do you remember the year that Boston was 130 points and lost to Florida?
That was Lyon. That was Lyon who led Florida down the stretch.
That's very funny you say that because that's not even why I was bringing that up. I was bringing that up because Boston that first round had won the Jennings Trophy with Ullmark and Swayman, and I think they started Swayman or Ullmark, and they went with
till the
Ullmark
seventh
6th.
game.
That's right. They didn't make the switch as the series was getting away from them just till the final game. And by then it was too late. And I do wonder, to me, Luukkonen was not focused that game. He looked bad. I don't know that you don't have time to give him more chances. I'm okay with making the switch. I think that you just got to go off the last game and react to it.
Yeah. That's fine. You both seem to be okay with it. I just thought Luukkonen would get another run. But you're right. It's not an incumbent, who starts 60 games versus a guy who's barely played 20 games. They shared the net to some degree all season, and it worked out incredibly well. So there you go.
Yeah.
You're okay with the Oilers, no problem. Connor, pointless.
Yeah, I mean,
it's okay. They're comfortable on the road.
If you break it down and you said, by the way, you're going to be outscored on special teams 4-0. Connor McDavid won't have a point. Evan Bouchard will have played, less than what he played during the regular season. You might go, oh my God, we're down 2-0. Yeah. I'm sure Knoblauch's saying, well, we split under those circumstances. I feel pretty good. I'm never going to sit here and, just like we talked about Crosby, I would never doubt what Connor McDavid's going to be able to bring. But Edmonton, we've not seen their best game yet by a long shot. No. And maybe they have to maybe going on the road will be a good thing, guys. Maybe kind of quieting it down. I like these track meets. It's fun for us. But Edmonton, I think, would be more comfortable in a 3-2 game than Anaheim. I don't think Anaheim's capable of a 3-2 game. I really just don't.
I also don't think that, like, it has to look great. Like, you scrap and fight with Anaheim here and you get through, and maybe next round it's Utah or Vegas. And, like, I feel the Oilers just kind of have a way of not dying. They've just been through this, and they've got the best players, and I don't know. Ingram is still the wild card for me. Can he?
My concern level's low, though. I mean, remember last year, they were down 2-0 to L.A., and on the ropes, if not for a Byfield exit and a coaching challenge,
Chip it.
It was done.
Yeah,
So to say now, hey, they're best of 5, they've lost home ice. What's wrong, McDavid? I'm certainly not ready at all. The one of the three Canadian teams, easily Ottawa's in the most precarious spot, and that's obvious. I'm saying something that's very obvious. They're down 2-0, even though they've played well enough to be split in this series. Edmonton hasn't played great. But as you said, this is a veteran team with 2 of the best players in the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not overly concerned yet.
All right, 3 games on tap tonight. Everything gets started at 6:30 on your pregame.
7.
7?
7, yeah, leading into Ottawa, Carolina, 7:30 puck drop.
You got Kelly, Jen, and Bieksa with you?
I don't.
Gaz, you got a Gaz showing tonight.
Yeah, Elliot's there too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Boy,
I don't know. I'll look up. I'll find out.
boy. What a team, eh?
I think it's Elliot, Kevin, and Gaz. Yes.
Awesome.
That's right. That's right. Look forward to it, fellas.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Great
Appreciate
stuff
it.
as always, DA.
Oh, yeah, you're free to go.
You're free
Hey,
to
guys,
go.
thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
David Amber, Hockey Night in Canada, Sportsnet.
Sammy makes a real-time jersey change to the Utahs.
In the meantime, let's get Dan Muse to talk about the Crosby embellishment. Clip 1, boys, if you got it.
I disagree on that strongly. Not one. Not one for our team all season. And so we didn't come into this series to start now. Our guys have done a good job with that. And Sid doesn't embellish.
Yeah, I mean, I get he's got to stand up for his guy, right?
Oh, I would have just.
You sure about that?
Lost my junk.
Would you?
I would have.
To me, it's tempting to just be like,
I would have protected Sid right to the end.
Sam's all over Muse for sticking up
Okay.
for Sid.
No, that's not what I'm all over him for. There's a different one that I'm all over him for. I can't believe I'm about to do this. But
You gonna crap all over Sid?
you guys presented Sid in a certain way, which he is my favorite hockey player of all time. He is one of the nation's finest athletes in the history of our country. Stanley Cup champion, gold medalist, everything.
Yeah, we can read a hockey card, the back of a hockey card.
We know
We're
all
good
that.
there, Sam.
He used to flop around like a fish and cry and act like it's like to say that he's not an embellisher is a bit of a
To
stretch.
me, though, it's like,
He's
people
had
said
that in
about
him his whole
Gretzky,
career.
Mario, like
For
if you're
sure.
targeted, that's part of the
When was the
thing.
last time we talked about him diving?
But if you are a Philadelphia Flyer fan listening to this, and you guys are all like, he would never consider. He's always had grease.
We
he
said he's earned the right to get the exception.
Stick guys in the you know what. Like he's a greasy player. He's not willing
It's
to.
okay.
I'm
It's
just
all right.
saying that like
All the greats with Stanley Cups have a greasy side to them.
egregious call last night though, not embellishment. He got high sticked in the face. You're eligible to go down. I can't believe they called that.
What are we talking about then?
But I'm just saying he's eligible to be talked about as an embellisher to me. That's it.
I think it's a valid point that Sid is competitive and will do whatever it takes
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
We're talking about earlier in his career.
Very much so.
Okay.
Very
And they
much.
all
He's
learn. Wayne had some issues staying up on his feet early. Mario, they want their calls. Connor likes their calls. They understand how much their skill level is above and beyond everyone else's, and they're looking for a little advantage.
Do you know?
There's just a time where he was talked about as like the biggest crybaby in the league for like the first 5 years of his career.
In your era.
Yeah. And is that not your era?
No, well, mine was prior to that.
Oh,
when
yeah.
It was Mario
Yeah.
and Wayne.
But were they talked about like that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Wayne was for sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Do you know who led the league in penalties drawn this year?
I do because you told me recently. So
Has to be Connor.
Okay, it's Connor. Yep. And do you have any idea how many penalties one man may have drawn in 1 year?
Do you know what second place is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's even more interesting for me. But
Here, I'll give you second place. Second place with 38 was Matthew Schaefer. Tim Stutzla with 36. McDavid with
54.
56.
Not bad.
Almost 20 more than the next guy. I mean, almost
That's the way
every
it should
game
be.
he's drawing a penalty.
That's the way it should be.
Like
He's an
20
absolute
times
hurricane.
faster than everyone else.
Totally. The interesting names at the top: Schaefer, Stutzla, Celebrini, Pasternak are your top 5. Hagel's 9. But also the one thing that interests me, and Sam pointed this out, the differential of what they've taken compared to what they've drawn. Connor's plus minus is, he's plus 34, which is the most by a great distance.
I'm sick Sid's going out like this. Just hasn't been a good look for them.
He's not out.
Okay. They're going to, I guess every 3-0 comeback looks horrific before you go
Is
to
it
the
over
comeback.
in
But
your
she go.
mind?
She go.
Yeah. Here's why.
But there's,
No, I think they're
can
going
it
to
go
win.
6?
Yeah, I can go 6 for
Okay,
sure.
they've
I don't think they're getting
pick
swept.
and put 2 in a row together.
They're going
I
to win
said
the next
Penguins
game.
in 5.
What's that?
Fuck.
Yeah.
That was a bad one.
I just, that Philly team is competitive, scrappy, defensive minded.
Game time?
Yeah.
All right. It's game time. Presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Some 3 games on tap tonight. Like we said, Carolina and Ottawa, game 3. Buffalo and Boston, game 3. And Colorado and LA, game 3. I wanted to look up the Conn Smythe favorites right now. But I'm doing this live on air, so I'm just going to go with.
Already?
Yeah, I love this stuff.
2 games in.
Why not? Who do you think the favorite is?
Brandon Hagel.
Great guess.
But then you have to think that who's most likely to win the Cup? Colorado. It's probably McKinnon.
It is, correct. Plus 550. The second favorite is way behind him at Cale Makar. Plus 1,600.
Whoa, that's a massive gap.
But I think, to me, this is a great time.
That McCarr bet's pretty good.
But that's really before any of the playoffs started.
Totally. And they're up 2-0.
So tell me,
It's not,
in
though.
your-
This is a great time to find value because Connor McDavid is 18-1 right now to win the Conn Smythe. He would have been
while he's cold.
he would have been plus 150 before the playoffs
Get
started.
him while he's cold.
It's a huge number for him. Leon Draisaitl 40-1.
Oh.
If you think the Oilers are going to go deep, it's going to be those 2 guys, and either of them could win the Conn Smythe, even if they lose the
I
cup.
say that Draisaitl one is one.
Remember last year?
Genuinely consider betting.
Remember last year?
Yeah.
Remember last
If you
year?
had to
Oh,
give-
I forget what it was that we were going to bet on.
if you had to give it away after 2 games,
Hagel.
Hagel,
Hagel's Conn Smythe right now for me.
Freddie Anderson.
We need it's a great vote.
Freddie Anderson has won the
one bad
2-game
goal.
Conn
We
Smythe.
need a
2-0.
real time. We need a real time Conn Smythe. Okay? We
After
should
a
hand
shift.
Let's hand it out every day.
After a shift.
Yeah. Throughout the game.
Freddie Anderson's been the Game 2 Conn Smythe winner a lot of times in his career.
That's
Anyways,
not a bad point.
that was Game Time presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. And as always, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne is brought to you by Bet365.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We haven't talked about Dallas and Minnie. Minnie out of the gate, shot out of a cannon in game 1. Now find themselves down 2-1 in the series.
Few Stevie Yzerman clips, too, from his year-end press
Oh, the
conference.
GM
All right.
Yeah, so
of
we
the
can
Red Wings.
play those, too, if you want to get into that.
Plenty more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne.
It's been 13 years since my wife and I moved to Toronto, which is a good 10 plus hours from either one of our families. We've loved the city and we love the work too, so turns out that distance has become permanent. We alternate who we see at Christmas, and each summer we try to go both places. That works because there's lots of people who like to see Toronto. A couple years back, we tried hosting our house on Airbnb, and it's funny how it's just become a part of the budget math now. It's like flights are going to be this much, and we know we're going to save that much of it by hosting on Airbnb, and we figure out the rest from there. This year, it's a particularly intriguing option as the FIFA World Cup 2026 is in Toronto, meaning there's going to be no shortage of people looking for a place to stay. We're excited to be around all that energy for the first little bit, but it's also going to be great to be able to get out of the madness too, and to recoup some vacation money at the same time. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.ca/host.
Welcome back in studio. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, and our very own Sammy McKee.
Time now for the Acura Performance matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium. Now, looking at Carolina and Ottawa, Game 3 tonight on Sportsnet and CBC. Pre-game starts at 7 p.m. with with David Amber, who was in here with his sick arms. Just a gun show. It's ridiculous how good that guy looks. So some encouraging stats. Well, not an encouraging stat for the Sens. Every time they've gone down 0-2 in a series, they've lost. They're 0-10 in their franchise's history in those games.
So you started that by saying encouraging stat.
The Carolina road playoff games since 2022 have not been good. Their record since 2022, like I said, 9-16 in road games for a .360 winning percentage. Their power play over those games, 12.8% in their power penalty kill, 78.3. Their goals against go way down, and their goals against go way up. So
okay,
yep.
Did you say 9-16 in game twos?
No,
that's on the road.
Just on the road in general.
Okay,
just on the road in general.
Don't they have a bad game 2 record? Did I miss that?
They do have a bad game 2 record. If I'm quickly looking it up here, but
sorry, I thought that was a.
Anyways, so there you go. So their goals per game are 2.56, and their goals against per game are 3.12 on the road, which is way different than them on home.
Canes can't play game 3.
23-9 at home during that stretch, though. They are really, really good at home. The other thing that I wanted to quickly bring up, Logan Stankoven can match Pat Verbeek. 3 games played in 1991 for the longest postseason opening goal streak in Hurricane Whalers history. So there you go. Some Pat Verbeek talk for you today. Anyways, that was the Acura Performance matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium.
All right, nice job, Sammy. In the meantime, before we get into maybe Minnesota Wild and Dallas, Steve Yzerman had a press conference today.
Yeah.
Sammy?
He did.
He is still managing things generally.
He is doing that. Let's do. Okay, I'm just quickly looking at what I put.
Okay, well, first of all,
because I didn't put it in the lineup.
Not that surprising.
Oh yeah, sure is. Yeah, they're
really
9, well, sure. They're 9 years in without playoffs. What's how long a pass does one get? I don't know. Has Stevie been there for all
8
those?
years.
Has he been there for all
7?
those?
I think
he's been there for 7. I think Steve would tell you he's pretty disappointed and probably would put himself. If you were making the call, he may not be the GM, but they're getting close. They're sniffing it.
So
maybe
let's have a listen.
Let's do. I think it's clip 2, Derek. My computer is frozen here, so I think clip 2 is about. I think the reporter asks him if he's comfortable in his job. I think maybe clip 2, Derek. Yes. Do you think your job's in jeopardy? Yeah, that's the
just. After talking to him, I'm sure you talked to him throughout the season, but how much concern do you have about keeping your job? Do you feel that there's a limit here, or do you just feel you're going to keep doing the same thing and hoping for the best? But do you feel that your job is in jeopardy at all after, 7 years of not getting there, 10 years for the organization?
Well,
we're gonna need that as a
I don't think I'm just going to sit and hope for the best. As an organization, again, I'm very disappointed how this season played out. Throughout the course of it, there was a lot of things to be excited about. Seeing some of the younger faces come into the lineup, say maybe the 3/4 poll, we're generally pretty positive, and now we sit here today in the same spot we have for the last 7 years. Again, it need to take some time, and I'm sure. My conversations and going back to it, yes, I speak with Chris regularly throughout the course of the season, and he's on top of everything. He's aware of everything that's going on. I intend to do my job to the best of my ability, to do this job, to address the areas that need to, and intend to see this through.
There you go. What'd you make out of that?
RFK Jr. voice.
He's motivated. He's got fire in his belly.
Yeah.
And he's not ready to wave the white flag.
I think he's a competitive guy. I think he's a smart man. They're close enough that I feel like a couple of moves, they could definitely be a playoff team next year.
They can pop like Buffalo did.
Totally. Totally see that. So,
And then,
is there also a clip? Is there another Yzerman clip or no?
yeah, I don't know what it is that
On the specifics about what they would want to add or do?
Yeah, I mean, they do have a clip about that. I think it's clip 3, Derek. Just, what they need for next year. Yeah, my computer's frozen.
Blind.
It's frozen. I don't know what to tell you.
No,
not in the
you're killing it.
Clip 3.
We need to be a harder team to play against. We hear our players talk about that. And my message to them would be, guys, we need our team to be harder to play against. In order to do that, you guys got to be harder to play against. So either that or I got to get rid of you and bring in other guys. So I'd like to see us, in our bottom 6, we need some production as well. And also to have some definition, maybe a true checking line or shutdown line. And then, depending on what you have in your top 9, you build your 4th line a little bit around that. If you don't have enough production, then you got to get some production on that 4th line. If you're not big enough and hard enough or whatnot, then you need that. And truthfully, we need a little bit of all of that.
Oh, they need another Draper, Maltby, Mac.
See, while that's true,
Kosher.
they need top end. They need top end.
They need top, bottom, middle.
Like Patrick Kane's not going to get better. Like Lucas Raymond is a good player. Like he's a 80, 90 point guy. He's a very effective forward. But every team has effective guys. You need a lot of them. Montreal right now is rolling out. It's Suzuki and Caulfield and Demidov and Slavkovsky and
I'm not sure where they sit in comparison to Montreal when it comes to prospects, but I think we'd be okay to say the Red Wings are top 5 in prospect pool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't, but I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, they are.
Yeah, they are.
They've been
They are.
bad long enough that you would hope so.
And that's a bit of a game changer here. He made a kind of a reference there. Did you catch it about getting rid of guys?
Yeah.
No. Which part?
That maybe I have to get rid of guys, trade guys.
Yeah. So he's
Right?
going into this offseason with a willingness. His back's against the wall here.
With his prospect pool and being motivated to change a few, they're going to be very active.
Robert Thomas, Red Wing.
Red Wing.
Red Wing.
Great. I'm on board with that. They could use it. That would be great. And I think the guys who have been there, like Larkin, are probably ready for that. Let's do it. Let's go. Things are going to get hard for the Leafs, man. We talked about them in the first hour, but you got teams like the Wings who are sniffing it, who are about to get more aggressive and flip prospects, and it's a tough division next year, boy.
Yeah. Buffalo, Boston. Thoughts going into tonight? Josh Norris not playing day to day.
That's
Is this going to be his
defeating.
career now?
Well,
it has been.
Yeah.
To this point.
If you're Kevin Adams and your name's in GM conversations, it doesn't help that as the games are getting big, Norris is not an option, because that was initially what smart mouths like me said about the deal. How can you be sure this guy's
I
gonna
like
be
this
available?
series to go 7 games.
I'm worried
I
about
want to go back to Buffalo
the Sabres. I'm worried about them.
with some momentum for their fans.
I'm worried about them going back to Buffalo down 3-1.
They got to get one in Boston. They can win the series, but it's gonna be tough to get one in Boston. Swayman looks really good.
Oh, an Atlantic Division rival wearing blue going into TD Garden, that always goes great.
But like Boston, you talked about it a little bit at break. Just like they got their tent poles between Pasta and McAvoy and Swayman.
Yeah.
But then they just got a bunch of veteran guys. That's Elias Lindholm and Hampus Lindholm, and Zadorov's a big, heavy, strong guy, and Zach has been around.
You know
for
who
years.
surprised me, who was not very good for the Oilers last year, but has been great for the Bruins, is that Arvidsson.
Yeah,
He's just, I think.
he's competitive.
What's it?
Goes to
Where was
Sturm
he
call-
last? Where was he
Edmonton.
last?
all the time. He's at
No, before.
LA, I think, right?
He had a couple of stops.
And Nashville, I think.
Nashville was his big.
That's where he was his
big
best.
His career kind of years.
Yeah.
I've always liked his game. He's not afraid to go to that, but he gets hurt a lot too. He's Josh Norris-y.
Marco Sturm calls him a weasel, and I think that's probably the best.
Yeah, prior to Edmonton, he was LA, and prior to that was Nashville.
But
Like he had 34 goals, 31 goals, 29 goals, 26. Like he's had.
He looks good. I don't know. They just got
20
some good guys, and that 4th line that you love, like Jeannot's mean and Kastelik's mean.
Sneaky.
So like
Zadorov's
Buffalo has a ton
mean.
going for him, but like it's
Who blew
it's
their
a
brains out
tough
for
playoff.
Geno? Nashville?
No, Tampa.
Tampa blew their brains
Yeah.
out. A first, a second, a third, and a fourth.
Whole draft class.
And then they just quietly go and get him Boston.
Yeah,
But he went somewhere in between, didn't he?
you guys are really putting me to the test.
Sorry, could you hockey
I
DB
don't know
it?
if he had another pit stop.
Kings. He went to the Kings between.
Yeah, he did.
Is that not correct?
Yes, it is correct. So Boston this year, he was the Kings last year.
How many games in LA?
67 full season. 13 points and 90 PIMs. 2 seasons at Tampa Bay where he scored a total of 8 goals.
And then Sean Crowley always loves this time of year,
Yeah.
too. He's like Josh Anderson. You just give him some focus. You give
He
him
buried the Leafs once upon a time, old Corrali.
give him just a game plan and wind him up.
So you said before the break,
210.
before you said that they're going to go to Lion?
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
Way too soon.
Oh, see, I don't.
Panicky. Panicky.
I think you got to make the move
But he,
when the information presents
they're
itself.
feeling it. They're like, it's too quick a flip for me. I know they've been going 1A, 1B like all year. They've played a bunch of different goalies. For me, it's just you're showing that you're cut to me.
And on the other hand, to me, I think you have to react to the info you're getting, and the info you're getting is that UPL puked on his pads.
What if he gets lit up tonight? Then what?
Yeah, then you got to
Go back.
UPL again, pal. Say if one of you
Too
can't
quick.
figure it out, gotta expect something of these guys. Got to be able to handle
It's a
it.
huge game for the Sabres tonight. I don't like the Buffalo. I mean, Boston still has the next game at home. Sabres, I would say must win tonight. Sabres must win. Yeah.
Are we
Must win.
shocked at Dallas, guys?
No, I picked him in the series.
You did, eh?
Yeah.
Me too.
But after they got smoked in game one, you're like, you didn't see them going down 2-1
I
after
thought they
3.
were cooked after Mini got hot last game. Right? They came back from
Yeah.
down 2-0, score.
You know what it hurt
Gotta stay out of the
me
box.
is Zuccarello out.
Yeah, that hurts them big time.
One guy can really screw up the rhythm and the depth, and he's it.
Yeah.
He's it. It kind of drops there.
Well, we had
Their
been
meat and
concerned about them
potatoes
going
team.
into it. Yeah.
Boldy
Beat
is
everyone.
awesome. Kaprizov was kind of non-existent yesterday. He
Yeah.
didn't have a very good game. And if that guy's not going, and there's Boldy on his own, Zuccarello's, it hurts them. They got to get him back.
Fast in playoffs.
I'm looking forward to watching Wyatt Johnson in Team Canada's power play 1 bumper spot for the next 15 years.
He'll never not be on Canada again.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's something to be said about the power play guys like that. You know, oftentimes I think it's kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? That people slag on the power. Oh, it's just power play
Oh,
merchant or
dismissive
whatever.
of it.
But it's a skill, man. It's to be on that good on the power play, and that tip last night, beautiful.
If you can have a good power play, it's like, yeah, I'll take a guy who's great on the power play only. It's very helpful.
Pucks still enter the net.
Yeah.
So
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Dallas have 5 power plays they didn't score on last night? Or there was a
no, they scored in. I think
maybe it was the other one. Was it Minnesota?
their overtime. Yeah. Their overtime winner was a power play goal. So they score on their power play.
We got a nickname in Hamilton for their American
This
Hockey
is a
League
huge
team.
story.
Yes, I'm glad we brought
New
this
York
up.
Islanders farm team is going to be playing out of Hamilton, and they've filed for 3 trademarks. Sam, what do you think?
The 3 names are the Hammers,
The Hamilton Hammers. I love it.
the Hamilton Havoc,
No.
and the Hamilton Mustangs.
And why the Mustangs, you ask?
Not Slapshot.
Youngblood.
Youngblood.
Yep.
Thank you.
That was the name of the junior team in Young.
I do love the idea of them just wearing the red and white jerseys with the H with the horse on it or the Mustang on it, I guess. But Hamilton Hammers is too good. It has to be the Hammers.
Just a hammer.
Just a hammer.
Everyone calls it the Hammer. They're the Hammers. Just hammer it up. Don't
Hammer.
overthink it. Hammer the nail in.
and
Everything's a nail to the Hammers.
And every time they score a goal, you play Hammer Time.
Oh, my God.
We should be on the marketing team.
They're going to not do it. Here come the Havoc.
If you're gonna do it, Hamilton, if anyone's listening out there, has to be the Mustangs or the Hammers.
Yeah.
But Havoc's no good. No one wants Havoc.
I'd buy a hat with a hammer on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. We'll hang a Hammers jersey in here.
We will. I'm a Marlies guy though. I don't know if I could do that.
Marley's true and true.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Is your golf course is open? Obviously.
Lakeview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot.
Did you play today?
I did play this morning. Yeah.
You tweeted it. I think I saw.
Oh yeah. So We don't have time for the story, but
What?
I had been grinding them for multiple years ago. They're
For free passes?
for them to make merch. Like they don't have any
They
merch
weren't
for their
selling
hats.
the rope hats.
So last year, I bootlegged it and I made my own for like 15 guys I play with.
And they
Anyways, I
loved it?
entered the pro shop today. They're like, guess what? We got hats now because you've been greasing us for 4 years about
They
it.
roped him into a
So I had to
new
buy
bucket.
one. I did have to buy one. And I'm wearing it. So there you go. Shout out Lakeview.
$45?
Yeah, around there.
Can't get a hat for less these
No,
days.
you can't.
Brutal.
Our thanks to the following guests. David Amber in studio. Jason Demers joined us as well from the NHL Network. It all gets started in about an hour. 3 games on tap. Enjoy yours, and we're back on Off the Rails Friday. You digging up Doug McLean for us?
He's already confirmed.
Oh,
Daniele's doing it. I'll see you guys on Monday.
Where are you?
Going to
tomorrow?
Florida. Bye.
Oh my God, more days off.